Hey guys, and welcome to the channel. If you've subscribed recently, thank you so much. We're a pretty small channel over here, so everyone makes a big difference and means a lot to me. So thank you if you've subscribed. And also, if you haven't seen any content in a week or so, we were out of town, so took a minute to get back to this, but happy to be back at it. Today's topic of the day is from no other than Reddit, and the poster said, if looting without entering a menu is Fallout 4's greatest quality of life change, what is Starfield? Ooh, I like this. I think this is going to be a fun one, guys. So sit back, enjoy the ride, and let's get right into the topic of the day. So, yeah, I mean, when you play a Starfield compared to Fallout, and Starfield was released, I believe, in 2023, Fallout 4 was released in 2014, there's a lot of things that have changed from a quality of life perspective. So the interesting thing with Bethesda games is they all kind of mimic each other, and they all have the same kind of flow, the same kind of loot and shoot dynamics to them. It's super addicting, and it goes all the way back to, the earlier titles, Oblivion, Morrowind, Skyrim, the Fallout series. They've all kind of had this, like, you kill enemies, and then you essentially have a little menu pop up with all the items you can grab, and then some of those items are useless, some can be broken down, some are worth something to sell, and some of them can actually be worn or used, and it's a really addicting, fun game cycle, and I just love it every time. It's so fun. But what they're referring to here with Fallout 4 is the difference between Skyrim and Fallout 4 was in Skyrim, you go up to a person, you'd have to open a menu, then you grab the items and move on. Fallout 4 had this, like, super addicting, like, you shoot somebody, you hover over them, you see it, pop, pop, you can grab everything at once, or you can, just grab the item you want and you move on, and it was, like, so much more dynamic and just so fun and just made that experience so much better. And honestly, when I go back to, like, Skyrim or Oblivion or something like that, I'm like, oh my god, I missed this, right? So, like, Starfield's not much different, where even though Fallout 4 was probably my favorite game ever before Starfield, I'm starting to get to the point where I feel Starfield's my new favorite game. And it's funny, like, there's a lot of things I like about Fallout 4 to this day, and there's a lot of things I like about Starfield, but the gameplay mechanics of Starfield are just leaps and bounds above Fallout 4. There is a ton of things they've added to Starfield from just, like, a quality of life perspective that are just like I said, way, 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 way more fun. And they did incorporate, once again, Fallout 4's really dynamic, quick looting system. But they've also added some other things as well. So I can get into, like, some of my opinions on it, but I'm just going to start with some comments, because I assume the comment section in this one is going to pull the same talking points that I would pull. So let's just jump into it. Let's see what the commenters are saying. So one commenter said, gameplay settings. I hope that every BGS game from now on has these. Oh my god, yes. So this is a huge one right off the bat. Starfield has, and I made a video about this. I can post a link in the description if anybody's curious on, like, gameplay settings. They're really fun. But essentially, instead of having, like, survival mode and things like that, you can actually just go in the game menu and you can kind of tailor the experience to yourself. And that can be everything from, like, how hard your bullet hits to how hard you're hit, to how many credits vendors have, to how hard it is to do space combat, to how fast travel works, to how nourishment works, how pain works, how environmental situations work. That you can play with all these to your heart's content, and actually you're rewarded where, like, if you can just keep it in the same game, so you can turn them up or down anytime you want based on the scenario, but you're also rewarded in the form of experience for making it a harder experience yourself. So I'm usually running, like, a 20 plus gain on experience because I run these harder settings, and I play the game like 700 hours, so, like, I can, and it keeps it interesting for me, and I'm always cranking them up or trying to find something else hard. But, like, the reality is I'm also, like, leveling faster because I'm using settings, and I'm having more fun, and at the same time I'm gaining more experience. So it's just a win-win, and, like, I agree. Like, I don't see any world where Elder Scrolls 6 they wouldn't do the same thing for the records. I think we should be safe with this one, but this was a great quality of life improvement with Starfield, and it actually didn't come out during launch. This actually came out a little bit after launch. It was, like, one of the early updates they added this these settings, and I play with them all the time. I think it's a great comment and great feature. Next commenter said, being able to sell from your ship at traders so you don't have to carry all your stuff. Yeah, this is fun too. So in Starfield, you don't have to go back to like individual shops or individual towns to sell stuff. You can actually like loot on the spot, and then you can run into like ship traders in space. There's all these ships in space. So when you're like traveling between planets or systems, you can actually meet up with these traders in space, have conversations, and actually do a lot of trading right there in space. You could technically stay in space for most of your trading endeavors if you wanted to. I think that's probably not something I use as much as I should, because I love to just go to like Neon, where there's a line of shops, and turn those vendor credits up. You do get a little reduction in experience for turning the vendor credits up, but I offset them by everything else I'm cranking up. So I'm still getting like 20+% experience, even though I have like 75,000 at the vendor credits. It's just not that fun to like do the vendor credits where you're going and they only have like $5,000 and you have $100,000 of stuff. So you're visiting each of the 3 vendors, and then you're like waiting for them to restock, and then you're rinsing and repeating. Like, that's just not a real good, fun quality of life thing. So like the idea of taking a little hit on experience, but just being able to like wham bam and thank you and move on, like I think is nice to have in the game. So totally agree. That's fun. I don't use the space trading as much as I probably could, but it is a cool feature. Another commenter said, being able to adjust vendor credits so I can sell all this shit and collect in one place. Yeah, I mean, this is what I just said conveniently. It's super nice to be able to just have vendors with a lot of credits, get your stuff sold, make a bunch of money, and move on. Then you can be out there shooting and looting some more and not spending tons of time sitting in town and waiting for vendors to restock, or flying to 50 different planets to get enough credits accumulated to sell all your stuff. Another commenter said ledge grabbing. So ledge grabbing's funny to me, because ledge grabbing is like one of these huge things that like every time I go back and try to play Fallout 4, I'm immediately like, oh, I just missed the ledge grabbing so much. Like Skyrim and Fallout 4 both had kind of antiquated ways where the character would interact with the environment, and you get stuck behind like anything. If there was like a rock that was over knee high, you just get stuck. Like you could have like a waist high rock, and you're just stuck. You have to like walk around it, and it's like ugh. So like not only did Starfield like solve that, but on top of that they also added the ability to like grapple things when you're in the air, and you just barely grab them and pull yourself over. And like Halo and COD and everything have had this type of feature for a minute now. And Bethesda was definitely behind the 8 ball on that, but it feels so good to have that in a Bethesda game. The slides feels good too, by the way. I think that's new for this one too. I don't think you could slide in Fallout 4. But being able to like run and slide while shooting or just evading also just makes the game a lot more dynamic. And then the other one would be jetpacks for me, of between running, sprinting, sliding, ledge grappling, and jetpacks. Man, do I miss those things when I go back to Fallout 4. As much as I love Fallout 4 and Skyrim, I miss the dynamic movement of Starfield so damn much whenever I go back. So great improvements. Can't imagine they would take them back out, because that's not what Bethesda does. Bethesda, just so you guys know, they build on every time. So like anything they build in their game, you typically use in their next game. So like when Fallout 4 introduced the ability to build settlements, like Fallout 76 obviously grabbed that, and so did Starfield. And Starfield, what should be exciting to you guys about Elder Scrolls 6 is Starfield added vehicles, and they also added spaceships. And so they added these like moving objects that you can ride and pilot. And like now it's like maybe Fallout 5 we actually end up with a wasteland type of car that could buzz around the wasteland. I think that'd be pretty cool actually. Or Elder Scrolls 6, everyone's talking like we're gonna get ships, like ships that are in the sea, ships. Like how cool would that be? I actually really hope so, because I really am into the player home thing. I know it's kind of a torn journey on like building homes and things like that. I don't think it was any tear at all, though, in like the spaceships in Starfield. I think most people would argue that's the building of the ships and the having the ships and the modifying the ships and the using the ships. I think everybody just wants more of it, if anything. I'd like to spend more time in that ship, if anything. I think it's one of the best parts of the whole game is building the ships and living in the ships. And I don't see a lot of value in the settlements because the ships are so valuable. So like I could see that in Elder Scrolls 6 too. Like I don't really need a player home, but it'd be kind of fun to be able to build castles and stuff anyway. But like I would love to have a ship that I can modify, make my own, get into sea battles, traverse between continents or islands or whatever. And, have like all my supplies and stuff in there, be able to modify, decorate it, make that my home, have my crew in there. I think that's really, really fun. And I think there's a great opportunity to do that. So I'm fingers crossed. I'm actually going to be disappointed if they don't do that. That's fine. I've heard this a lot online, but like Bethesda, please make shipbuilding. Like I think it'd be super fun. And I get like Fallout 4 was maybe a little too heavy with the settlement building, and it was annoying to people because they made it objective based. But like I feel like the ships in Starfield are anything but annoying. They're one of my favorite parts of the game, and I think that having some sort of wooden ships you can sail around on and do battle and have crew and whole things and personalize and all that stuff would be super, super duper cool in Elder Scrolls 6. I'm really hoping for that. Moving on. So another commenter said, I think New Game Plus was really cool, but it would only work for this game. I see them maybe dabbling with Elder Scrolls. I don't know if it'll work, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, New Game Plus was pretty dang cool, too. If you're like me and you love building out characters and you love just playing quests and you miss playing certain quests and you restart games to play quest over, New Game Plus is pretty cool. I think I got to New Game Plus 9. I actually still have to get to 10. It's on my list of things I haven't accomplished yet. But overall, like, I don't see any harm in New Game Plus at all. I think it was really useful, and I love how actually in this particular game it kind of tied it in to make sense of it. Actually ties right into the storyline. I don't need it in Elder Scrolls 6, for the record, because I'm okay just doing like fresh starts with fresh character, but I think it'd be kind of cool if they had a way to do it, because the people that get connected and are really attached to their stats and things like that, it's just kind of cool to be able to like keep going, play some of your levels over again at a harder difficulty. New Game Plus usually adjusts to like your character level and things like that too. So you get to kind of go through and replay the game, maybe have things you didn't have the first time, and I'm all about it. I think it was a really cool improvement for Bethesda on this particular game. Another commenter said, for me, hiding helmet armor, freaking jetpacks, and personal atmosphere power. So the helmet hide is something I was really excited about too, because I really get into like building these characters, and I was like, man, I hope like every spacesuit isn't just this big bulky thing and I never get to see the face of this person that I spend like an hour in Character Creator every time, like to make sure it's perfect. And so the hiding helmets and a lot of breathable places and having helmets hide without having to just equip them every time when you get into breathable settlements and things like that, I think it's pretty cool. I guess I didn't really think Skyrim never had that and Fallout didn't have that, but yeah, they should definitely have that. That's, it's already built in at this point. It's a good jetpacks. We're not going to talk about anymore just because I already talked about jetpacks, and the jetpacks are sweet. The jetpacks are one of the most fun thing in the game. Honestly, the shooting from the jetpack, traversing around with the jetpack, it's super duper fun. In fact, like it's like people talk about the Outer Worlds being fun, and I think it's fun too, but I really miss that jetpack in the Outer Worlds. It feels so similar in a lot of ways, and it's a really fun game too, and it's like, I wish I could fly around like I can in Starfield, and I wish I could fly my ship in Starfield too, Personal atmosphere, in case you don't know what personal atmosphere is, personal atmosphere is essentially like a power that allows you to carry like unlimited weight for a period of time. It is pretty useful when you're a big looter, collector, and seller like I am. So I'm all about it. I don't know if that would go in Elder Scrolls 6, but it's pretty cool. Another commenter says driving buggies. So yeah, and I think we'll leave it here. I think I talked about that a little bit before, but just vehicles in Starfield are like this thing that they didn't have at launch that just changed the game. You have these big, expansive planets, and like being able to drive around on a buggy on it is something that, honestly, it's funny because like I assume like, and it was all rumored that it was going to have vehicles, and it launched without them, and it was like, ugh, I can't believe they wouldn't do vehicles. And then when you're exploring these wide, barren planets, and we're not going to get into why that could be okay or not okay, because that's a big, huge debate. Oh, it's just empty planets. Well, yeah, most moons are going to be empty, you know. That's the nature of the beast of space. You don't want to fill it up too much. And if anything, sometimes I think Starfield is a little too full. Sometimes it feels too empty, and sometimes it feels too full. I think there should be places where there's no POIs, and I think there's places where they could take those unique POIs and scatter them more strategically, and the game would feel a little different. So you get that a lot. People go, oh, there's nothing to explore in Starfield. There's just a couple rinse and repeat POIs. There is like 170 unique POIs. The problem is that they're like randomly spawned, and they are also just spread out across the universe of 1,000 planets. So you have less unique POIs than you do planets. So you're going to get repeat POIs. But there's still like a plethora of POIs to be explored. There is so much content in this game. It's ridiculous. People always go like, oh, Starfield's just hollow. There's nothing there. It's nowhere near as big of a game or as deep of a game as Fallout, you know, or Skyrim. They're totally wrong. Like, Bethesda said it themselves, and I think this is true after playing it for this many hours. Like, there's absolutely just as much content. The problem is, instead of being like on a, you know, square mile map, it's on a bazillion mile universe. And that makes it just feel, in a weird way, it feels less rich despite being so much more rich. And like, once you learn how to play Starfield and you learn how to find unique things and you learn how to explore properly, like, it's all there. It's just like, there's this learning curve to be able to do that where you can't just walk around aimlessly and bump into things like you used to be able to. So I have no doubt they'll fix that part in Elder Scrolls 6. But the buggies are banger. And that's all I'm going to say on the buggies. I mean, Elder Scrolls 6 surely going to have horses and probably horse buggies and things like that. Fallout 5, like I said, fingers crossed that because they have this tech to do vehicles now. Like, I'd love to see like wasteland motorcycles and cars and things like that. I truly miss that when I go back to Fallout 4. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool to have like raiders come up on like a car shooting at you and shit like that? I think it would be, personally. Let me know your opinions in the comment section. Do you guys think that Starfield was a huge leap forward? Are there things in Starfield you 100,000,000% want to see in the next game? Are there things that you hate and you don't ever want to see in the next game? If you made it this far, guys, thank you so much. This was a rant. I really appreciate it. I know most of you haven't, but if you have, like, consider subscribing. If this is something you enjoy, we're going to do stuff like this. We're going to talk about this game for a long time. I love this game, and I want to be part of this community for a long time. So feel free to subscribe. Feel free to give me a comment. I appreciate your time. Have a beautiful day. We'll talk soon.